Hello and welcome to the Volintech channel and to part 4 of the story about fixing and servicing the vintage Chronograph Suisse watch that uses a well-known Swiss Landeron movement caliber 51 that was produced in 1950s. This part is dedicated to the mechanical chronograph assembly and finalizes the project by putting together the watch, crystal, case and the band. At the end of the video I will finally check the accuracy of this watch. Before doing chronograph, I searched online and found the original watch course dated by 1949 and describing in details every part of chronograph and the way it should be disassembled, lubricated and assembled. It also provides the original names of every chronograph part, so I will use all terminology from there, despite it could got changed over 70 years. And now I'm starting from the intermittent lever and wheel assembly. Then the intermittent lever spring goes. Next is the second wheel tension spring. And the second wheel assembly. Minute register wheel follows, and the second wheel and minute register wheel bridge. After installing the starter pusher, I am getting the starter push piece assembly to its place. Then I install the second pusher. And the push piece for setting back to 0. I would think it is just a reset lever. In the instructions vocabulary, the next is the push piece for setting back to 0 spring. And now is a very important functional part, the flyback lever. It is responsible for managing the chronograph work with the help of other components. The flyback lever spring assembly is next. Now it's the time to assemble the chronograph pivoted detent with the intermediary wheel assembly and the chronograph pivoted detent bridge. I'm installing the wheel over fourth wheel assembly now, slightly pressing it to the extended pivot of the fourth wheel and checking its level, which should be the same as of the intermediary wheel. Then I wind the mainspring to see how all works together. And here is a nice magnified view of the magically rotating wheels. Next I assembled the chronograph pivoted detent spring. And lubricate the touching point as I lubricated other points before. Now it's the time for the last part, the minute register pole assembly. And this finalizes the chronograph assembly process. Winding up mainspring to the full, and checking the movement in action on the microscope. Turning movement to the dial side, and finishing assembling by putting back the hour wheel and a friction spring. Installing the dial and fixing it to the place using 2 dial fit screws. Installing all hands, starting from the second hand, then minute hand, hour, and chrono second hand, and finally the chrono minute hand. By this point I put back the bezel with the new crystal, and I will show it in a bit. I put the movement into the case and fixed it in place by 2 dedicated screws. And here it goes, the new crystal for the restored vintage watch. Now closing the case with 2 covers. One of which is 18 carats of gold. I've polished it as well as the case, and I think they look better than before. Fixing quickly that strange bar that has been soldered into the lug. And now replacing the old scuffed and not original bracelet by a new nylon band that matches the case very well. going through all chronograph functions to make sure everything works as it should be. And this is all for the final part 4 and for all work done on this watch. Thank you for watching this and other videos. Please subscribe and give me likes if you like that video. Thank you again and see you next time. Bye bye now.